What up? This is Final Boss. This is another quick writing tip expose. This was a question actually someone on stream sent over to us, which is what's your writing voice? How can you improve it? How much attention should you give it? And this is a very tricky question. Writing voice is defined in a lot of ways. It can be as general as the proportion of writing devices you use. It could be, hey, this person is very description heavy, or this person is very interior thought heavy. Um, but a lot of it actually, I think, when you get into more stories, it depends on the point of view. It's a mix of point of view and the style of speaking, right? So, like, yeah, some writers skew towards having more description. You know, if you read more Victorian writers, they have more description. But a lot of that actually, really, the voice comes out in third person. When you're in a third person point of view, it's what the narrator's voice is, right? Like, so if you're reading Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, the third person narrator's voice is a redactor. It's someone who's, this scholar who's telling you, Bilbo's work, and that narrator has their own voice. And you'll find a lot of writers that use third person very heavily will, for the most part, and if they're, especially if it's an omniscient third person, they will definitely make that omniscient third person a character with voice and sometimes opinions. One of the things you'll notice too when reading, I think Agatha Christie does this a lot with her Poirot. She'll give you, the narrator will give you free and direct discourse. You'll hear Poirot's thoughts because it's a close third person, but she'll also poke fun at the other characters. So the narrator has their own voice, their own personality, and they're making jokes. I think it's a close third person or omniscient. I don't remember. I haven't read her stuff in a while. But yes, a lot of it is mixed with the point of view. In first person, it will be what that character sounds like. If they're Western, they'll say, well, y'all don't know about what it's like around here. And that can be what the voice is. Just the tone, giving some personality to it. And I think voice really just comes down to giving your writing some personality, letting me get to know the person that's telling the story, and to kind of feel the music of what they do. In more sophisticated literature, if you're looking at like a Virginia Woolf, that's a little bit different. Hers is more of a poetic voice. And she's using, it's really the proportion of a couple of things, right? It's the proportion of how you're managing the prose. It's a proportion of whose personality is coming through, and who's kind of like, is it someone talking with a southern accent, whose personality is coming through, and then how much of the narrator has their own personality versus imbibing the personality of the characters. Virginia Woolf leans, and the writing piece of it, she's very heavy on poetic writing, pretty minimalistic in terms of the narrator's own voice coming across. The narrator is really more of a reporter, and she's very intense on using that omniscient point of view to go deep into the character and free and direct discourse and stuff like that. And that's her voice, and she's representing it in poetic ways and using the prose to represent the character's thoughts and feelings just as much as what she's saying about the character's thoughts and feelings. So if Miss Dalloway is feeling very effusive and exciting, the prose will change to something that's more poppy, more exciting, more poetic. There's internal rhyme, so that's another aspect of voice, is how the prose is going to represent what's going on in the action of the scene and in the character's thoughts and emotions. It's a very tough question. All that to say, and kind of to your last two questions, how do you improve it and how much attention do you give to it? How do you improve it? Honestly, I think a simple way to improve on voice is do some first person stories, because that's the easiest, right? Because the narrator is the character in first person, right? You don't have all these parts you're juggling. In first person, the narrator, for the most part, some people vary, but the narrator for the most part is the character. So in that case, do some small first-person short stories with a character with a silly accent, a southern accent, or that hates everybody and is mean to everybody. Whatever, that's all part of the voice. It's this extra personality that comes through. So just do it with a first-person character in a flash fiction or a short story as an exercise. And the other thing to improve it is to read a ton. This is the part where reading matters, and noticing and looking out for it and saying whose personality is coming across here in this silly line or in this kind of joke. Who's the person? Is it the character's personality coming across? Is the narrator's personality coming across? Is it the writer's personality coming across? Those are all three different things in some writing, and it's a complicated thing to do. And obviously, a lot of modern writing doesn't do that. They have a very kind of hidden narrator, but it's a choice that you should know that those writers are making, and you should learn to make yourself. How much attention should you pay to it? Not much. Just right. Especially if you're not really figured out what it is yet. It's a very tough thing to explain, but honestly, just write. Get output done. Get a draft done. And worry about voice later. I think in genre writing, it will be there. It's already there. I think the thing is your writing already has a voice in it. Whatever, just the fact that you've written it means your writing already has a voice in it. And in order to actually be thoughtful about that voice, you need to finish that story. You need to finish that draft, go back and read it, and then think, okay, who's talking here? Why are they talking, and do they need more screen time? Do I need to bring more character thoughts in? Do I need to bring more narrator thoughts in? Or do I need to change to another point of view? Voice is very linked to point of view. I know this was a longer writing tip thing, but it's a complicated subject. I wish I could give more time on it, but I try to keep these writing things under 7 minutes, which we're already at. So good luck, everybody. Feel free to join the channel, Final Boss Editing on Twitch. If you want to ask follow-up questions, because this is a really complicated topic. Can't, really answer it in 7 minutes, but I hope that just gives you just some fodder to think about this problem going forward. Good luck in your writing, everybody. Bye-bye.